Check this video out.
If you were a physician who is forcing patients off of benzodiazepines, I need you to listen carefully. You do not get to prescribe a drug powerful enough to change the function of the human brain and nervous system and then pretend you have no responsibility for what happens when you take it away. You cannot keep calling physical dependence addiction. They are not the same. Physical dependence is a biological adaptation to the nervous system. It is the predictable consequence of exposure to the very medication you prescribed. Your patient did not choose that. Their brain adapted because you gave them the drug.
Okay, do y'all think she's crazy or what? She is telling the exact truth. I like this creator. Sounds like she educated herself on what she was on, the benzos, and now she's really pissed off because she found out what she was taking, the side effects, what it caused, the physical dependency. Your brain starts making the substance that it needs to make. When you take a pill, your brain no longer needs to make that pill, meaning your body is very intelligent. It's not going to spend energy making something that you can just take a pill for. That means, like she said, your nervous system, your whole entire body can depend on this medication. You try to withdraw for it, stop it abruptly, which is very, very dangerous. Always seek medical help when you want to detox or stop some kind of medication quickly or abruptly. If you try because you can't make it to the hospital or you know somebody trying to taper off themselves, get medical help because it can cause seizures. When you have seizures and you don't have seizure disorder, that is very, very dangerous. Call 911. Get help quickly as possible. It causes tremors, sweating, heart palpitation. You feel like you're going to die. So let me listen to her a little bit more, but she is correct. A lot of medication that we give people, which is like over 1 million people on benzos right as we speak. A lot of them been taken a few years, which is designed for short-term use. Long-term use or high doses because the tolerance build up is a disaster waiting to happen.
Then you write a bloody other new prescription.
You write a whole new prescription. For example, I work chemical dependency, right? People come there with alcohol and other substance abuse behaviors or disorders, whatever you want to call it, to detox them off the alcohol, which is the most dangerous drug to detox off of. Alcohol is the number one dangerous drug to detox off of. They give a Suboxone. We give them Suboxone. Then they get addicted to the Suboxone. So they addicted to alcohol and they're addicted to Suboxone now. What happens if they run out of Suboxone? What happens if they run out of benzo like this lady saying? What's going to happen? How can they get that drug illegally? What happens if the doctor stop giving it to them? What happens if they travel to a country that they don't allow those substances in their country? And you don't know that because you don't read the fine print. You don't know all the drugs every country allow in a country. It's a tragedy waiting to happen. Match made in hell. So as nurses and parents, we have to get educated on medication because your teenager having trouble and you own benzos, so you take her or him to the psych ward to get them on benzos. You've been on that long term. You can't get off of it now. You need to ask a serious question. How long is my loved one going to be on this medication? What is the plan to get he or she off the medication? If they have a problem with the medication, how can we taper off? You need to know this before you start taking the medication. Because benzos, it is amazing medication. It saved a lot of lives. People got serious disorders, anxiety, panic attacks, agoraphobia. Some people need medication, but they need to be educated on the medication. Therefore, they can make the right decision. If this lady would have known what the medication caused, she probably wouldn't have never took it. I'm just speculating. I'm not her nurse. I'm not a doctor. This is for educational purposes only. So I'm just trying to educate the public as she's doing right now. And don't get me wrong, I am pro-medication. I'm a nurse. Some people need it. And don't ever try to shame somebody who have physical dependence to the medication or even addicted to the medication.
What is the number one most dangerous psychiatric medication in the world? It's not antipsychotics, even though they can cause all of the weight gain issues and the cardiovascular problems. And it's not even antidepressants, which can sometimes make people even worse than when they started. And it's not even drugs like lithium, despite their well-known risks of renal damage and thyroid damage. In fact, I believe the most dangerous psychiatric medication in the world is Xanax and the similar drugs in the benzodiazepine class. Hands down in my practice, this group of drugs causes the most problems. And this is not only because they're deadly in overdose, but because of what they do to the brain over time. You see, these drugs frequently trigger something called BIND, benzodiazepine-induced neurological dysfunction, which is a form of neurotoxicity that builds up after long-term use. Now, the way to tell that you're developing BIND is that many patients will describe worsening memory and they'll develop intrusive thoughts and agoraphobia, where they become reclusive and they don't want to leave their home. As this progresses, many patients will go on to develop ear ringing, light sensitivity, brain fog, and even severe anxiety. And you want to know the cruelest part about this is even after you notice this and you want to come off the medication, stopping these drugs can be brutally difficult, and for some, the withdrawal symptoms when they come off can last for years. So as a doctor who specializes...
It can last for years. So again, we have to educate our patients, and more importantly, we have to educate our children. We have this thing called life, and life goes up and down. Life is difficult. We have to have something more than medication. I'm pro-meds. But we also got to have therapy. We got to have cognitive therapy. We got to teach people coping skills, how to cope. So we had to have some kind of alternative beside the medication. Also, we got to have other non-habit forming medication that's also available. We can't play doctor. I know in the media, social media, the drug companies and the commercials going to hit you nonstop. Take this medication, take this medication, take this medication, take this medication. Then at the end of the video, they'll give you all the probable side effects. But basically, it's not a problem unless it's messing with your daily life. Meaning that you can't go to work. It's messing up your relationships. You're losing money. You lose your home. You're losing your family. You lose your friends. Then that's when you need to go get help. If you have something quirky about you, but you still can function daily, you still hold a marriage, hold kids, the family doing okay, then sometimes you might have to do some alternative coping skills, right? Everybody doesn't need to be on medication, even though I'm pro-medication. And lastly, the miseducation of medication is the problem. Like the first lady, what can she do about that? She can complain about the doctor, but the doctor don't do anything. He's probably rich because he legally gave the medication. It's not a doctor issue. It's a system issue. And if you don't give this person the medication, what's going to happen to the person? Will the person unalive themselves? Nobody knows. But basically, all I want to say is this. Benzos are very dangerous. So it says eyes. It says eyes. Another psych medication. When you take your young person, your teenager, or your loved one to the hospital to get put on some medication to make them feel better, you need to know how long are they going to be on this medication, because benzos are designed for short-term use. It's designed for short-term use because of these side effects. If a nurse or doctor tell you the patient might be on this for life, then you need to ask them what is the long-term side effects for long-term or life. Then that's when they should give you the correct information. Then that's when you have to decide. You make the decision, or you wait till the child is adult or the teenager is adult to make their own decisions. Or you guys also make sure your loved ones know what's going on. But that's about it, guys. Benzos, I love the lady, I love the doctor, but It's just two little people singing in the coal mine.